Hello, everyone, again to the Unstoppable Woman Part 2. To redo quickly the introduction for the people who just joined and who weren't here for the first 2 minutes that we had. But welcome everyone on the Unstoppable Woman Part 2. And I'm so happy and excited to have today's guest, Estelle, with us. Estelle is a public speaking expert, an author with Penguin UK and Hachette US, an academic, and also an international broadcaster. Estelle lives in the UK with her partner and two beautiful children, and she is originally from France. And I'm so excited to have you here with me, Estelle, today. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me. And as I was saying, I'm so excited to talk about confidence, empowerment, and self-worth in many ways, because I think it's something we're going to discuss, in today's session.
Exactly. So, Esther, to a little bit learn more about you, and I know now you are many times on TV and on global stages, but this wasn't always the case. And as we know about you from Instagram, you were also afraid of public speaking. So, if you could tell us a little bit about your story and what shifted and how you became this expert in this field.
Honestly, if you had told me, or if you could travel to the past and told, my 17-year-old version of me and saying, like, you one day you will be good at public speaking, I think she would laugh at your face, saying that's impossible. I used to absolutely hate public speaking
Really?
with a passion. I was terrified of it. I was absolutely terrified. I would not speak, when I was in a classroom. So when I was at uni, I would be at the back of the room, not because I didn't do my homework, like not because I was not working, but simply because I'm extremely shy. I know it doesn't seem that way, but I'm extremely shy. I'm a very true introvert. I recharge only on my own. I don't like noise. I don't like when things are crowded and everything.
Yes.
But what shifted for me was the fact that I had a passion. I loved what I was doing. So when you describe me, I think it's, you say I'm an academic, I work at university, I'm a historian. So
Yes.
it's my love for history. That's what I do. That's why I publish my books. So I write history books, non-fiction books, and I write with Penguin and Hachette, as you said. And what I realized is, like, when you have a big publishing house behind you, but even before that, but like especially when they do expect you to promote your books, so
Right.
they make you go, especially if you have a nice book deal, there's the money behind the marketing, and so you have to go to these festivals, and I go on tour for my books multiple times a year. But even before that, I realized, Maria, that I was really comfortable in a classroom
Okay.
because I had the knowledge. I was the teacher, right?
Right.
So I had the knowledge. But each time I was with peers, so in a meeting or with people that were higher up,
Right.
I would freeze, I would stammer, I would go red, I would absolutely hate it. And what changed for me was, like, realizing that if I wanted to pursue the career that I wanted to pursue and get the recognition for my work, because I worked so hard, as you said, I'm from France originally. I
Yes.
do everything like you in a second language. And it's way, way harder, right?
It
Like, I mean,
is.
it is a different beast. And I realized that if I wanted to do that, I needed to overcome my fear. And
Right.
also, at the time I was teaching at University College London, I was, doing my PhD, and I had first year classes, and I had to prepare them for their presentations at the end of the year or of the term. And so I researched massively the psychology
Okay.
behind the fear of public speaking. That's where I researched, and that's where I started. I mean, in a way, I call them my techniques and stuff, but I
Mhm.
started researching and I started trying new things, and it worked for me, and then it worked for my friends who were also scared, for example. And that's when I realized, oh my God, I have something. And I think it's 18 months ago now when I started my side business, because I really wanted to help people. I was like, how can I help people? And I decided to put everything into a very concise guide no fluff, no, time wasting, just my
Exactly.
techniques, everything step by step. Even my videos are very short, like they're 1 minute, some 30 seconds. I go to the point. I'm not here to lie to you. I'm not here to fluff. And what I realized that if you implement these techniques, it works. It works every single time. It's worked for me and it's never let me down. But
It's
I think we're going to
crazy.
talk also about that, this process and all
Yes,
of this and what it means to, like, you have a goal, you're good at what you do. It's the same with you. You're so good at what you do. But if you can't project, if you can't share, if you
exactly.
can't connect, what's the point?
And I love your story and how you went back, that it all goes down into this really the fire in you, and that you want to do it, and that you love, really, that you love what you do and you
I
want to
do.
do it, you want to get better at it, and you have this really just
Exactly.
feeling in you that it doesn't matter what it takes. And even though I'm so afraid of this, because you said you're an introvert, you like to sit in the back, you don't want to step forward, and but having this fire and this really this pull, it's amazing to hear that what this can do, and giving now also hope for others who feel like this, oh my god, I'm afraid of public speaking, I will never be able to do this, but I want to have my own business, I want to run my company. And now we know we live in an online world, we have to stand out, we have to talk,
We have
we
to.
have to show it. So
Yeah.
this gives the hope that yes, this is something you can learn. I love your story. This speaks huge courage.
Yeah, thank you. And also, like, it kills me because I see so many people being so good at what they do,
Yes.
and yet they can't. They just can't speak up. So, like, how do you help? The thing is, like, because I work full time and stuff, I can't do coaching. Like, you do amazing coaching, Mary, and you do understand the,
Thank
the
you.
neuro, science and stuff. And I haven't done, that deep research like you did, but I've done a bit. I've done a lot of psychology behind it. So,
Yes.
and obviously I'm not a psychologist, so there are some people that I would say like 10% that wouldn't need a therapy behind, because it's more, it's out of my depth to help them.
Yes.
But for the rest of people, for the people who are scared, like 72% of people are scared of public speaking, 64% will never try anything.
It's unbelievable
um
what fear can do.
on it, what fear can do, how it can hold you back, how it can ruin opportunities for you, and how it's so unfair. You see people with, I'm sorry to say that, but half your talent, and they speak, mostly men, but not just men, but they speak up
Because they
and they
have
have
the
no fear, and they
confidence.
don't, and when you hear them you're like, or doesn't it annoy you how many times in meetings before, when we were bouncing back ideas about like a new degree or something, and I wouldn't dare saying anything, and one of my colleagues would say it, and I think, oh, you see what I mean? Is that
Yes.
I could not let these moments, I could not let these opportunities go away. And for me, the turning point was also like when I was trying to help these students, and then I realized I needed to help myself, and I realized that if I wanted to become good, I was going to not only get an agent, get signed, all of this, because I have all of this, but I needed to be able to perform. So at the same time, I think like it was 6 months after I did my research, helped my students go through their presentations and stuff, and I learned a lot and got much more like confident. The French production company in France contacted me for a documentary in France. It's my first documentary ever, which I love the fact that it was actually in French the first time, and I went
Of
filming
course.
it was in the UK, but we went filming all around the UK, and I could every time implement what I just taught and what I just learned. And it's when I realized, yes, I can do this. And the
Yes.
more you use these techniques, the more you implement them, the easier it literally becomes.
Exactly. And just talking about this fear, so many people are being judged, they are afraid that they are being judged, or afraid that they're not going to hear like smart enough. That's why
Yeah.
they not speak up, just what we thought. So what do you think is really behind this fear? Like why is this happening with them? What do you see with your students or who come to you and tell you their stories?
So I think we need first to talk about there are different fears actually of public speaking. It's just
Mhm.
what you said, the fear of being judged, the fear of being humiliated, and I think this one is much harder. I mean,
Oh,
I can help with this one, but for some people they would need therapy because it comes from something like a trauma that
yes.
obviously, a guide or even a little coaching is not going to help you. You need proper professional help. But there's like the fear of not being good enough is something that can be fixed as well. Something, and you just realize that is, you know, every time when I tear down these fears in my guide by asking you like your fear of being judged by who?
Right.
Who is going to judge you? Because the truth is, what we don't realize, and there are many people when you go watch someone, for example, if you were giving a talk about neuroscience and like how to organize yourself and how to overcome, all things that are thrown at you from work,
Yes.
and how do you balance your life, right? If I went to go, I saw Maria's given talk, I want to give it to see her give a talk. I'm not here to judge you. I'm here to listen to what you have to say, right?
What
The
a
audience.
difference that is.
Exactly, but it's the same in meetings. When you have something to say, people are actually here for your idea. And if your idea is not great, your idea is, it's what I tell my students, your grade doesn't define you. Your idea on, Monday morning doesn't define you, doesn't define your intelligence. So if your idea is not the best, you still
Yes.
have to say it because then you can refine it. You can understand why. You learn also from others and stuff. So I think that it all comes down to, are you going to let the fear holding you back? Or are you going to decide that actually it's not you? Public speaking, Maria, like I think that's the biggest problem I see with my clients, with people who contact me and people
Yeah.
who've been helped with my guide. They realize that public speaking is not acting. It's not performance. You're not a singer. You're not here to entertain someone. You're here to share. You're
Yes.
here to connect. The star of the show is not you. You're not here to shine. Even when I'm in front of like the last time was 300 people. They're not here for they're not here for me. They're here because I'm talking about my book, the topic of my book, and they want to learn how I did my research. How they want the message, they want the idea.
Yes.
And when you remove that, there's no fear because there's
That is
connection.
that is just so powerful. And just you telling this, I like have this shift inside of me. So I can just imagine what the listeners now are going through or really like rethinking, because I think this is such a powerful information you shared, that yes, they are there for your information, not for your acting. And
No,
lately this came up so much in coaching for me, and I think it can relate to this when people are afraid that, oh, I'm going to be judged, or have this fear. Like, we a
yeah.
lot of time thinks that emotions are reaction to things that happens to us, but emotions are predictions. We always predict something in our brain, like based on what happened to us in the past. So exactly what you said, who is actually judging you right now? Are you yourself judging yourself? Is,
Exactly.
I don't know, just saying your mother, your father judging you, your old teacher?
Exactly.
Like,
Exactly.
go back, look into this, and then having this mindset shift that you just said, that you are not there to act, you are not there to perform, you are there to share your wisdom.
And I'm
That's
even gonna,
just huge.
it's not perfect speaking, it's public. So it's about your
Wow.
it's about your audience, Maria. It's like what we're doing right now. It's not about us, how we look. We don't have to pretend to be anything we're not. We're here to
Exactly.
discuss something that, could help others. So when I give a talk, obviously, I don't think that my, history books of written about people who were dead 500 years ago is going to help people. But, there's an interest. They love the fact, they love learning about Elizabeth I, Anne Boleyn,
Yeah.
and my research. But sometimes when you give a talk and you try to reach out, you try to help. But there's something I spend so much time think about what do I look like? What do I sound like? And I realized I'm my worst enemy. It doesn't matter,
No.
really. I mean, obviously, you want to look, where that's professional, where you're comfortable, and all of this. But I remember thinking about breathing techniques, power poses, and I would and body length. Throw that out of the window. Connect,
Wow.
share. Put the focus on your message. Do not script every word. Have a structure. Why? Because if you script every word, you're going to be paralyzed. At some point, you're going to forget the word and you're going to be like, oh, and you're going to freeze.
What I'm supposed to say, right?
Exactly. And also, you know what? Embrace your imperfection. How many times sometimes I'm like, oh my God, what was I saying? Yeah, let me go back to this. How about, because people are not here to judge you. And if people judge you, it's on them. It
Yes.
tells you about them deeply. We don't really judge others. We are either
No.
jealous or we're just massively insecure, because who is totally confident in themselves and secure in what they bring to the table is going to judge anyone. You don't. You
No.
only do it when you're insecure yourself, or when that person reflects something you really want, or and so you're like, oh, who does she think this person is? She thinks she's beautiful, or she's doing. Oh my God, she did her. I don't care how you do your hair, right? Like I don't care if you had red lipstick, or she thinks she's bold, but actually, all this judgment is from them
We
on
judge
themselves.
ourselves. We always
Exactly.
judge
So
ourselves.
it's not the person who's speaking, it's the people who are sitting. And honestly, I can promise you something. I've given hundreds of talks. Like I can't, so many, Maria. And I can tell you that I've had one or two where it was a bit uncomfortable with a question, especially in the Q&A, where the person was passive aggressive. It didn't reflect on me. I
Is it?
smile and I move away. I move forward. Thank you very much for your question. It's a very
It's not
interesting question,
about
but
you.
actually I don't know the answer or whatever. And I move away from
Yeah.
this.
I love it, and I love how empowering this is, and how changing, because it really like it exactly shows me with this public speaking. And I just love what you said. It's not perfect speaking; it's public speaking. How true is that? Oh my God! And this is not just when you stand out on a stage or when you go on television, but when if you work in corporate world and are in the meetings.
Yeah.
And you
Yeah.
maybe are afraid speaking up because you feel there are higher management sitting there, but you have the perfect idea. You know how to solve it. You know what the next
Exactly.
step should. It's the same technique. It's the same speaking because, and I know I see it in your content coming up a lot that you talk about also the trying to reframe say this exactly, that when you're afraid of public speaking, it's just like you would be afraid of a bear coming in and getting you. It's like really it's the same feeling that it causes in your nervous system and
Yeah.
frees you down
Yeah,
because you are so
actually,
afraid of
it is
it.
proven, science. I know you love science and neuroscience,
Yes,
Maria, but you're gonna love this one. It is proven that public speaking creates the same in your brain. Like it basically triggers the flight or fight mode. In
exactly.
many ways, it makes you feel unsafe. It just does. So that is going to, like, honestly, I can't change. I don't have a pill to give you to change that. But I have techniques that I don't think nerves are the problems. When you get nerves are here to tell you you're doing something interesting, you're doing something important. Your voice matters.
Yes,
What I'm trying to help you is that what can you do to turn these nerves into energy? So your nerves are no longer controlling you, you're in control. And that starts with what I call the rule of three. So, for example, everyone says when you go on stage, you should always smile and make eye contact. It's very, very difficult to do. Also,
oh
then,
God,
when you go on stage, or when you're meeting as well, when you're in a meeting and you have to present to 20 people and you have to do a report about the data and everything, that you've worked in corporate, you know how it is. It's very hard. You're not going to look at everyone and smile. Instead, I call it the rule of three. you choose 3 people and you connect with them. You look at them in the eyes, and by doing that, you create a connection. Only 3, and they're gonna smile back at you. It's automatic. I promise you. Just that is gonna send a signal to your brain that you're actually in a
Yes.
safe place.
Oh, so
Just that is
important.
going to lower down your nerves, and then I'm gonna give you other techniques to help you. Then, now that your nerves are much more in control, what do? You leverage the power of vulnerability. What do I mean by that? It is okay to say, oh my God, I actually hate public speaking, but I'm making an effort because I love this topic. It is totally fine. You do that because you show vulnerability, but you show actually that it's powerful. You turn against your nerves into energy. You'll see people that are going to be compassionate, feel for you because they feel the same way. Let's not forget 72% of people are scared of public speaking. So in your room, there will be people feeling for you, and even more
Right.
important, rooting for you. And then you move to, as I said, like, how do you start to talk, and the things, and all these little tips and all these little techniques are here to really help you overcome
I
your
love
fear
that.
over and over and over again.
And it's so true because, and I talk about this a lot also in my work, that until you feel safe in your body,
Yeah.
you can do journaling, you can do meditation, mindful. It's not going to work. You're not going to get to your goal because
Yeah.
that fear is always there. You have to feel safe in your body. And I love this example, this rule of 3. Look at 3 people. Don't get overwhelmed. Keep your
Exactly.
focus. Such a good tip. And Estelle, what would you say? What are some daily practices or rituals that you love to do on a daily basis that helps you prepare for public speaking, gets your nerves down? Also, maybe before you have a big opportunity coming up for you.
So there's 2 things that I do every time I go and tour something. And it sounds a bit like, honestly, it sounds obvious. It sounds obvious. It's part of my guide as well, because honestly, people need to be reminded of like basics.
Yes.
The techniques are not difficult. The brain is not, I mean, yes, the brain can be complicated, but actually, there's lots of simple things you can do. They're not overwhelming and not overcomplicated. So, for example, 2
Yes.
things I do. I always make sure that I master my topic. You have to master your expertise. You have like, and I'm not talking about knowing everything about it.
No.
I'm not talking about knowing everything about the data you're presenting on Monday morning. I don't remember, I've written like 100,000 words. I don't remember 100,000 words when I give a talk about my book. That's not what, but can I or can I not explain my talk in 1 to 3 sentences as if I was explaining to a child? Can I do this or
Oh
not?
my God.
If I
Yes.
can't do this, I'm not ready. The second thing I make sure I do as well is that I structure. I never script. I structure. And now I'm going to give you a very special like tip that I do, because we talk a lot about, I'm sure you've heard of it. And I'm not like throwing shade at it. Bear with me. Positive visualization, right? People are like, you need to visualize that everything is
Yes.
fine and to be positive about it. Yes and no. For me, I do empowering
Love it.
visualization. I do not focus on my audience smiling. I don't close my eyes and think, okay, everyone is going to be rooting for me. I'm happy. No, I visualize myself. And what I do is like, I empower myself by saying like, I'm going to talk about what I love. I'm going
Wow.
to be in front of people and I'm going to be able to share my passion. And all right, you're going to tell me, okay, stop. But, when I present my data, like on Tuesday, on Monday morning, like I have no passion about it. But visualize yourself and say, you boss this one. You rock this one. You are, like in a way, you love presenting. You try to empower yourself and you visualize it. You don't visualize people smiling at you. You visualize yourself. And so something I do, I usually don't close my eyes anymore, but there's something I do. It sounds a bit weird, but I do close my fist. Like, when you're rooting for someone, yeah, you
Yes.
go, go, go. I was an athlete, so at high level, so it was very important for me. And it was something I would always see myself win, right? I was a taekwondo black belt and French
Wow.
champion, so I used to, and it's that and I'm like this, and I can see myself, and it's so funny because I think it's a year ago, my partner filmed myself, and I'm eating, I think, a waffle, but you can see that I'm completely like I'm like this, and that's also I'm rehearsing mentally
Okay.
what I'm gonna do because I don't rehearse. I
Not the
don't over
speaking.
rehearse. I can do
Yes.
mentally. And I do by 5-10 minutes. Like it's just it's what I call empowering visualization. It's not about rehearsing the whole talk. I don't need to. I just need to
No.
remind myself why I want to do this. Why am I here? So if you're in a corporate and you have a Monday, morning meeting and you need to present data, and honestly, that's not your passion, right? But surely there's a reason why you're doing this. And try to get
Exactly.
try take it seriously as well. It might be boring, it might not be where you want to be right now on Monday morning in the office of your boss with 20 colleagues, maybe not. But I know you have a dream, and I
And
know you have a goal,
yes.
and that presentation might not get you there like tomorrow, but by taking things seriously,
Wow.
by
Yes.
showing expertise, by showing professionalism. That doesn't mean seriousness. That doesn't mean taking yourself too seriously. Doesn't mean thinking you're like above everyone else.
Right.
It means being empowered by what you do. I do everything. If you give me a task, I'll do it as well as I can. And sometimes it depends, obviously I had heard I am with two little ones, as you know. But I tried really hard. So that all of this for me is what really helped me master public speaking in every public speaking setting, right?
Yes. And I think you just really honestly grabbed it on the right because, yes, visualization is so important and in so many aspects of our life. But what do you visualize and how do you do it? Because it does matter.
It
Like,
does.
yeah, do you put the focus on your audience or do you put the focus on you? Like, how
Yeah.
do you gonna feel?
On your
Because it's
feelings,
all
right?
about you.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's all about you. It's not about the others.
Yeah.
And yes, what you just said, if you're in corporate, you have a boring meeting you have to present, but this is what's going to lead you to the next level. This is what's going to
Exactly.
lead to the next goal. So important. And to have this tool and tricks that how can I hype myself up?
Yeah.
How can I give my best in this situation? And maybe it's not 100% best, but how can I get 80? How can I
Exactly.
get the maximum out of this situation that I feel good with myself as well? So powerful what you just said. And I love it how you grab it because I think a lot of people misunderstands how visualization should go or how these things what really helps them, and then they're like, okay, but I tried positive thinking, I tried to keep the negative thoughts away. Yes,
It doesn't work.
but it's not how it exactly.
You need to work on your emotions, and you need to see yourself doing it. So it's really weird, because you said like when you prepare, it's about you. Once you're in front of your audience, it's no longer about you. It's
Exactly.
about them and your message. And I think it's like working these two things. And once you understand that, usually there's a shift.
So important. And to recognize this and to know where to put your focus and when.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
what would you say if to someone who is so afraid of public speaking, hides, but really wants to, but so afraid? What would be the first step they can take towards easing this or getting closer to being able to speak publicly?
You have to ask yourself, what are you afraid of? What is
Going there.
holding you back? It's so funny because someone just reached out to me in my DMs. I can see like the stress, they're not sure the guide is for them. And they asked me like, how do I do it? Like I gave a presentation. It was a disaster. It was at work as well. And I'm like, you need to ask yourself this question. What are you afraid of? What is the worst that can happen to you?
Right.
What's holding you back? Because until you do that, it's going to be very hard to implement anything else, right? I think for me, I was really scared of being judged. I was really, really scared of being judged, of not being good enough. Sometimes it's more than one fear, obviously. Like sometimes it's a combination of it. I was never scared of being humiliated. I think it's a very special one that, as I said, like depending on the depth of it, can require more work, and I'm very upfront about it.
Yeah.
But the fear of being judged or the fear of looking dumb and stupid is asking yourself as well, who's judging you? And do you even respect these people that are in front of you? Because like,
Oh
you
my
know,
God.
there's something else, Maria, that always like got to me, especially with, when I was teaching students as well at university. It was like, I said, for you, your fear is about the grade. And so that's understandable, right? But when
Yes.
you give it, when you give data or data report at work, what's the risk? You're not going to lose your job. I mean, and you might not get the promotion right away, right? If you give a really, but like, then you still have time to work on it. It's not really the problem. So what are you so afraid of? And also, like, the people who judge you or you think they judge you, also are the people who never do anything with their lives. I've realized
Correct.
that, it's the same with on Instagram. When people go live, they're so scared of being live. They're so scared of doing talking reels, talking head reels. And I'm like, but the people behind, in the comments, did you see, like, I don't know if you've seen, Maria, there's so many, I think it touches more women than men on this, honestly. But have you seen, like, I was shocked. There was this woman who, it's about body confidence, like, I think she's a
Yes.
mother. And so she showed a picture of her in a bathing suit. And you see all these nasty comments from men.
Oh
And
God.
then she made a video and she showed the comments and she showed the pictures of these men.
Oh my God. I saw
Ye-
one video of
Yeah, yeah,
this.
yeah.
It
Did you
was
see
it
something
was
like
with
that?
Selena Gomez, but it was a
And then you're
similar
like,
one.
oh my God, these people are the ones judging you. And
Exactly.
that's why you're not going to show up? That's why you're not going to shine? Oh,
No,
give me a break. Come on. The people who judge are the people who do nothing with their lives. I'm going to tell you, I never judge anyone because I know how hard it is to show up.
it
And when
is.
you show up, you are unstoppable.
And I think
Not because
as
you're better, but because
yeah,
you show up.
and you let your fire and let that inner voice go out, and those are the people who conquer the world and support others and
Absolutely.
help.
And
And
if you don't someone with, half your competence, but twice your confidence, will do it.
yeah, and I think, Estelle, you are the perfect example of the unstoppable woman that embodies it, and I think you just gave such a big hope and light at the end of the tunnel of people who are afraid stepping out and showing up and speaking because they are afraid being judged. They are afraid something's gonna bad happen. Because look at you and your story. Look at you standing out and be like, hey guys, I'm an introvert, I'm shy, I actually hated speaking publicly. Now you have published books, you go on tours, you speak, you are on TV.
It's
It's just,
crazy.
I'm so proud of you and I'm
Oh
so
my God.
happy. We know each
Do
other
you
for some
remember when
time.
like CNN called me and said we want you to talk about I think it was unfortunately the death of Elizabeth II.
Yeah.
And honestly, the years of experience, I was like, oh my God, I can't. It was live as well, right? I was like, in my head, I was like, I can't do it. And I was like, wait a minute. It's not about
You.
me.
Okay, exactly.
It's about they want my expertise on something I know. They want to talk about, what does it mean for the monarchy, how the monarchy has evolved for 500 years, because again, I'm an expert on Elizabeth I and Boleyn, like, so how was it, how did it work before? So I even end up talking about Elizabeth I's procession, right? So nothing, and the end you have like Elizabeth, what was happening, images from London. But can you imagine? I was just so scared of like, oh my God, what if I'm not good? And then I remembered it's not about being good. There are some people that are going to be interested in knowing the history of this country and how it works. And I have that knowledge. And that's why CNN has asked me to talk for 5-10 minutes
Love it.
on that channel. I was completely live. And at some point I was like, I told my partner, I was like, do you think I should wash my hair? And he was like, just be yourself. You know, like it's not, you know, no one is gonna say, oh my God, I really wish she had washed her hair. You
I
know, like,
love that.
I mean, honest, you know, and so, yeah, I would have never ever imagined doing that. But every time I do the same, I use, so it was online, you know, like I was online on Zoom. So obviously there's no the rule of three, but here it's really about, so my technique here is about empowering visualization. It's not the leverage of vulnerability either, because I'm not going to tell on live CNN that I'm very, you know, that I'm not confident. It's really here leaning on expertise, leaning on knowledge of what I know. And it doesn't mean I need to know everything. They're not interested
No.
that I say everything anyway. Everything I know, they already don't. And they're interested in what I have to say. Do you see what I mean? Like, I feel, you know, so when students were often like this, or even a client lately said, like, what happens if she was giving a conference paper at work, and she's like, what happens if someone in the Q&A, because I cover the Q&A in my guide, what happens if I don't know the answer? Well, you don't know.
And you
That's
are allowed
okay.
not to know. You
And
don't
that's
have
okay to
to.
say, that's a very interesting question. I actually don't know the answer, but I will definitely look into it. It's something I'm now very interested in finding out.
Yeah.
And that's all right. How many times, even when I teach, Maria, you're gonna have a student who's gonna ask me, "Do you know what happened in 1560 blah 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 in, you know, in London that day?" No, I don't. But I will look and find out.
Yes.
But I'm not. I think we're so afraid of looking perfect,
Yes.
and we're not. We're
Especially now
humans.
with all the technology and having everything, everything
Don't
is
get me
at the
started. Oh my God,
fingertip.
don't get me
And I don't
started.
even want to go in that
Do you
because
know
that's
the
just
bane of my existence
ruining.
is all these ads about? Have you seen those ads where AI is? You know, you can have a script and
Oh,
then
yes. Like,
don't do that because you will sound robotic.
and it's not your way of speaking. It's not
Oh
your tone. You cannot force it. You
no,
you are
absolutely
not
not.
you are not ChatGPT or whatever. These are
No,
amazing tools that help in so many things. So I'm not saying it's just when you go out, it has to be you
it
because
has to be
it's
you.
not gonna
It
work.
has to be you, and you is more than enough.
Exactly. So Estelle, if people now hearing this are empowered to learn more about public speaking and to train this, where can they find you? Obviously here on Instagram, but if there's
Yeah,
anywhere
I'm
else.
mostly, honestly, you will find me mostly on Instagram. I'm always here on the stage. It's a name that I found because I really want people to feel empowered and
Yes.
to no longer try to hide away. So that's why you need to own it on the stage, own your fear.
Own yourself. Love it. Oh my God.
Yeah, and
So
overcome it.
powerful. Yes. Estelle, this was amazing. I do want to say this again because this is just ringing in my ears. It's not perfect speaking, it's public speaking.
It is. Isn't it amazing? It made such
It's,
a big difference for me. It was I realized that and I was like, it's such a big difference.
yes, it is. And anyone who is scared of public speaking, write this on a note stick and put it everywhere that you can see it. It's not perfect speaking, it's public speaking.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for sharing all this amazing information and useful information. And if anyone is really at the edge that I want to get better at public speaking, I can highly, highly recommend Estelle. She's amazing, doing amazing work, helping hundreds and hundreds of people. So just reach out to her and conquer this fear of yours of public
Thank you,
speaking.
Maria, for having me.
You're welcome. Thank you. My pleasure. And I wish you a wonderful rest of the weekend.
You too as well, my love. Bye bye.
Thank you. Bye.